Hello, EKN Nation, and welcome to EKN Debrief, our first episode of the 2024 season. It is David Cole and Nate Dean welcoming you to our first debrief of the season. It is Wednesday, January 17th, episode 123. So 123 episodes of our debrief program, all playing on the EKN radio network and available in podcast form wherever you get your podcasts. So thank you for joining and listening in as we review and give a recap of the 2024 Superkarts USA Winter Series at the AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex, presented by MG Tires in Homestead, Florida. So the AMR1 event that we have dubbed it, because it's the first of two weekends at the Homestead, Florida facility for the Superkarts USA Winter Series. And we'll get into what exactly happened at the January 12th through 14th weekend when we get into this show, which is presented by Factory Karts. Made in the USA, it's not just a statement, it's the mission at Factory Karts of America. Led by four-time Super Nationals champion Billy Musgrave, Factory Karts manufactures their frames completely in-house at their Riverside, California facility. Built and designed from the ground up specifically for the American karting market, Factory Karts brings new innovations and solutions that are long overdue. No other karting manufacturer stands behind its product as Factory Karts does, providing a 2-year warranty on all their frames. Learn more by visiting factorykarts.com or email Billy anytime at info@factorykarts.com. So, Nate, the first two rounds, round 1 and 2 of the 4-round championship program for the Superkarts USA Winter Series kicked off January 12th through the 14th. You were there all for both races last year, and we reversed roles. I went this year. Unfortunately, Rob wasn't able to make it, so I was running solo. I know he did a lot of the race reports for us. You tuned in from the cold that is in Minnesota, correct?
Yeah, the winter deciding not to show itself throughout pretty much all of December, and then hitting us with negative temperatures, going from like 30s to negative in just a couple of days. So not fun, but at least you had some karting to watch.
Yeah, I was able to escape all that before it hit in Michigan on Friday, leaving Thursday afternoon. So I was able to avoid all that. And I did do some shoveling. We had an early snowfall earlier in the week, so I had to do some shoveling and snow blowing with some snow coming down from that. But it was great to get in the warmth that is Florida. As the SCUSA Winter Series began its 7th season of the championship, which began back in 2018. And we talked about it in our Outlap preview podcast. Anytime I go to Homestead, it rains. And of course, it rained throughout the week leading into the weekend. So it was damp early Friday morning. As I arrived, it was raining. So the track was damp Friday. So I think probably about the first couple of sessions on practice on Friday before the track really dried up. It was very warm on Saturday, nearly getting into the 90s. I think I saw 86 as a high on Saturday. And then Sunday was welcoming the rain. It came down. We thought it was just going to be misting, but it had a couple of bursts that laid down some water, a good amount of water, including during some of the main events. So made for a wet and soggy end to the opening weekend of the SCUSA Winter Series. We go into now by the numbers, and again, a record-setting event for the Superkarts USA. As we said, the 7th season of the championship, and the first time ever they reached the 291 entry mark. So an amazing stat, Nate, entering the 2024 season.
Yeah, when we were filming the preview, it was about 280. Nice to see that about 10 or so walk-ups there. And yeah, like you said, only really 9 away from hitting a 300 mark for a Winter Series opening weekend, which is really good for them. As we know, KA Junior was the big class on the weekend, 63 drivers, forcing SCUSA's hand to do a bit of a different format for them, splitting up their heat races, having an LCQ, and the whole lot for them. A specific format for only them that weekend. Had some big shows from the cadet classes of Micro Swift and Mini Swift. Had 44 Micro, 32 In Mini, in the other junior category, X30 Junior, 31 entries isn't bad for X30, especially in the past 6 months and the tail end of the 2023 season when X30 Junior numbers were kind of dwindling and kind of struggling. So a little bit of a boost for that one coming into 2024. Touching on Master competition, K100 Master, 20 entries there. Master Shifter, only 2 entries. Again, like we said in the preview podcast, the Master drivers aren't on as much of a week constant rotation of race weekend schedule like some of the senior and junior drivers are. So not seeing a ton of Master representation was kind of to be expected for the Winter Series rounds. And then into senior competition, 40 drivers in KA100 Senior, a pretty strong field. They're always one of the big classes, no matter what series you go to. Then you had X30 Senior, X30 Pro, had 46 karts, and then Pro Shifter with 13 different karts. Not a ton for Pro Shifter, but still, if you watch any of the racing, it was still some very fun to watch wheel-to-wheel action.
Yeah, the KA Junior format was unique. They did split pre-finals, so odd qualifiers in one, and then the even qualifiers in the other, take the top 15 from each, and then made for the LCQ a little bit more interesting, taking the top 14 to fill up a 44 driver field. So allowed people who did bad in the pre-finals to not have to be all the way up into the top 6 or 8. So top 14 was more reasonable for that in that category, and made for some exciting LCQ racing. And again, yeah, big numbers, 74 cadet drivers when you combine micro and mini. So that was a very solid number to see. Sorry, I was just looking I had a number. It was actually 40 X30 and Pro X30. I'm not sure where I got the 46. I might have just hit the wrong button there. But anyway, yeah, great to see that. All the numbers, again, like you said, Master Shifter, they've kind of struggled there trying to get numbers there, and it's just kind of the way it is. But K100 Master up to 20. A lot of Florida drivers and a lot of international drivers helped build that up to 20. So great to see. Hopefully they'll all be back next month. And then again, 31 in X30 Junior. That's a solid number. Like you said, the last 6 months have been kind of teetering on, what do we do with this category to have 31? I think it's great. And there's a lot of young junior rookies in that field. So should be able to see good fields throughout the year in that division. So with that, we'll head into our first commercial break, and we'll get into our paddock pass right after these commercials.
In this day and age, if you need something for your karting program, it's just one mouse click away. One of the leading online stores in the sport of karting is tsracing.com. The Florida-based company has been serving the karting community for decades. TS Racing is one of the few kart shops with technical expertise in all divisions of karting. TS Racing's online superstore features a full range of the products you need to start karting today, or to restock your garage or trailer for the racing season. TS Racing is also the official distributor for Vega tires. For dirt, road racing, sprint, and the most popular 4-cycle tire with Cup Karts North America, a wide range of Vega compounds and sizes are available for your karting needs. Head over to tsracing.com today or call 352-793-9600 to learn more about the Vega tire brand or the many products that they have at TS Racing. Motor mounts. They keep your engine attached to your chassis, right? The answer is, they're much more important than that. Your motor mount is critical in transferring 100% of the power from your engine through to your tires and the racetrack. You need this to get on the podium each and every time you race. Odenthal Racing Products is here for you, providing the best motor mounts on the karting market today, all designed to make sure you're using all the horsepower you paid for. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience in providing products with unmatched quality and value for our racing community. The Pro Series mount for 2-cycle engines, which is available in 0, 5, and 8-degree inclinations, provides a rigid structure to help keep vibration to a minimum without adding too much weight to your setup. The 4-cycle Easy Set system is one of the most popular mounts for the Briggs & Stratton 206 power plant. Multiple mounting holes provide the most adjustability depending on your chassis and seat placement. To ensure a tight fit to your chassis, our ORP wedge clamps get the job done, and they feature a number of design updates to provide a lower profile and lighter weight. The clamps are available from 28mm to 32mm in both standard and Euro style sizes. And now, Odenthal has also revolutionized the karting industry with its new Easy GP camera mounting system. Designed to mount anywhere on your chassis with 1 or 2 cameras, the ORP Easy GP camera mount is your solution to capture that onboard winning moment. Head to odenthalracing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, proudly made in the USA.
And we are back with the episode 123 of our EKN Debrief. It is Wednesday, January 17th. I'm David Cole, joined by Nate Dean, as we're bringing you a recap of the 2024 Superkarts USA Winter Series opener at the AMR Motorplex in Homestead, Florida. And now we'll bring you the Paddock Pass, presented by Skip Barber Racing School. Are you looking for the next step in racing? Go from karts to cars with the Skip Barber Racing School. Skip Barber alumni are champions in every motorsport series, including Formula One, NASCAR, IMSA, and IndyCar. Get behind the wheel of a Skip Barber Formula 4 car featuring a 160 horsepower turbocharged engine. Our highly structured and competitive Skip Barber Formula Race Series is a perfect platform to start your racing career, so you can fulfill your dream of becoming a champion. With equalized race cars and a focus on driver development, your driving skills will determine if you end up in victory lane. Learn more about the Skip Barber Racing School at skipbarber.com or call 866-932-1949. So Nate, kind of some of the points to hit on. The most important one, I think, would be the new MG tires, the SH2 and the rain tire SW2 made its debut in Homestead for the weekend. We saw KA Senior, KA Junior, X30 Junior, KA Master, Mini Swift, and Micro Swift all running on the new SH2 red tire, MG tire. That is the harder tire that is just recently homologated as we get into a new homologation period going 24, 25, and 26. So a 3-year period now where we'll have this tire over the next 3 years. And some great feedback from all the racers and competitors with it being a bit of a softer tire than what they've had before, and actual more rubber, I think, is included in the manufacturing of the tire as rubber was getting laid down, provided more grip, and it showed in the lap times because nearly every category was either half second quicker in qualifying than they were in last year's race. So that's kind of the numbers we were able to see kind of breaking down. We actually saw a Micro Swift, which is crazy, 1.5 seconds quicker on Saturday qualifying from last year to this year. That I think that alone tells you that this tire is a lot grippier than what we've had before, Nate.
Yeah, and like you said, everyone kind of around that half a second quicker mark. Some classes more than others, a bit of an outlier, and X30 Junior only going 0.2 quicker on Saturday qualifying. But other than that, like you said, in the cadet category, some big gains in Micro Swift 1.5 and 0.8 quicker, in Mini Swift 0.8 and 0.9 quicker. So obviously helping out those younger drivers. Maybe it's a bit of a confidence thing too with the old tire, like you said, just being a little bit harder, and for those guys and girls that are just getting into it with a bit more grip, maybe having a bit more confidence in the kart. So that could be something too that's leading to a lot quicker times in the cadet categories. But yeah, a lot of positive feedback from at least what I heard, not even being at the track, which ultimately is really, really good for MG. Of course, drivers they're very picky on the rubber that they have on their karts. Just here's an overwhelming, we like this for the product, is great for them.
Yeah, one of the things was it's easier to mount. That's always key. And, this is a tire they could have possibly ran in Pro X30. They talked about it, how the older Iveco tire that was being utilized in Pro X30 shifter categories, it was actually pulling up the rubber that was being laid down by the SH2 tire, the supposedly harder tires. So, again, you look at the qualifying for X30. Let me see if I can find it here. X30 Pro, 48.018, comparing it to the junior, which was a 48.4. So you're talking 0.4 of a second. Juniors got down to a 48.0 on Sunday. I'm going to pull up the qualifying session for that. So it tells you, yes, they're at a lower weight and they have the restrictor. So we did a 47.4. So that tells you that the grip was getting laid down, because we saw a lot more faster lap times on Sunday for qualifying before the rains hit. And so that means a lot of rubber was getting laid down. So I think that's going to be a good thing. We'll kind of see what Superkarts USA is going to be doing for the Pro Tour. I think that's going to be coming up once we get to February, because again, it all decides on the delivery of product here to the United States. So expect to see the SH2 and probably the older Ivencos utilized once again in February, and we'll keep you posted on that. Again, of course, with the first event of the 2024 season, you're going to see people in new places, and among those, Jonathan Kotick going to Trinity Karting Group. So he's going to be one of their full-time employees racing or working for the race team, doing a lot of driver coaching and data with the junior drivers and cadet drivers. So something that he's been doing with Keelan Harvick over the last couple of seasons, with Keelan moving now probably strictly to car racing or doing European karting. He'll be working with Trinity throughout the season. We got to see Dalton Haynes in the Sodikart colors, so that's one of the other stories. And then Cooper Becklin moving over to Rollison Performance Group. So now they have two shifter drivers under the Rollison Performance Group tent. Nate, were there any other notable ones? I know there are drivers that have moved up to the senior ranks, or those moving from cadet to junior that were making their debuts as well.
I think Brendan Carr, for his first weekend at Trinity Karting Group and on a Kart Republic, did really well. Obviously, the British driver used to cold, wet, and miserable conditions back home, so really thrived on Sunday with a second place finish only to Tulio, who calls that track home and has probably one of the drivers that has the most laps around that track than anyone. You did talk about Cooper Becklin. He was one of the drivers, at least I was wondering where he would end up. Obviously, he's shown his skills in Formula cars, but jumping back into a kart, especially a shifter kart, is always going to be a bit difficult. But on Sunday, on the podium, really solid result for him. And I think those two are the main two that new drivers you can put in quotes that really impressed me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll kind of keep going along with that when we get into the race report, talking about some of it, because a lot of the drivers in new places perform very well, as you said, Brandon Carr being one of them. One of the issues that we had was logistics on Saturday, causing a number of delays. With the Homestead facility, there's grass. There's actual grass, which is great. We love it. But when it rains all day or all week, like it did leading up to the event, it creates mud. And it's in the grass area near the scales region was mud. That area is just a little bit congested in the way they had everything set up and trying to perform proper tech inspection as drivers come off the scales. So we had a little bit of a hiccup on Saturday. Superkarts USA tried to address it as much as they could as it was happening, but then they planned ahead for Sunday, moving things around, getting it in tech, out of tech line, along with getting people off the scales and onto their kart stands, trying to limit the amount of people that are surrounding the scales as well too. Just the way the things are laid out there, Nate, you kind of are familiar with it being there last year. It kind of gets a little congested and is a little clogged up, especially with the way the pits are right up to the racetrack. and not a lot of room to have all the logistics that you need to put on a race.
Yeah, it gets pretty congested there. I think when you run the opposite direction, it gets a little better because I think there's obviously a lot more room for scales, so that will hopefully ease things next race weekend. But yeah, it's just with people going to the grid there, people going to watch there, people pushing carts away. There's tech and with vending trucks there as well. It's just a really congested area, and obviously they did a best job as they can to try and ease that and get through the weekend.
Yeah, Sunday it went a lot smoother. They got through it on time. It was just the weather that caused the delays after that. And I believe one red flag that we did have during a pre-final race on Sunday. So that was the reason for the massive delays we saw on Saturday. Able to catch up and get going. And I believe we got all the laps in that we needed to get in on Saturday. So just in the nick of time, because the daylight was diminishing as we wrapped up for the final races on Saturday. And again, weather was the issue on Sunday. That was kind of the major delay in weather or delay in the racing. Superkarts USA had to cut to timed races because of the weather in order to try and stay on schedule. Because again, sunlight is a rarity when you get past the hour of 5 o'clock. So that was the only major issue that we saw on Sunday. There was one red flag, and I believe the driver was transported to be checked out, and I believe was okay. With no major injuries that I'm aware of. So we'll have to kind of wait and see on that. Other than that, not very many other stories happening throughout the paddock. Again, I think a lot of people are just happy to kind of get the season going, get back to racing for those who had not been racing yet for the year. And that. So we'll have more about those stories at the next event, and kind of following along with the tire situation and the new people in new places once we get into our race report, which will be coming up after this commercial break.
Precision Performance Karting, the winningest Briggs 206 team in the U.S. in 2023, is ready to get you to victory lane in 2024. As the factory team for Coyote Racing Chassis, PPK won the biggest 4-cycle races of the year, sweeping senior light, medium, and heavy at the CKNA Grand Nationals, and they have also won an iconic Duffy at the ICAP Sprint Grand Nationals in Texas. In 2023, Precision Performance Karting also traveled north of the border to dominate the Cup Karts Canada finale at Goodwood, beating Canada's best Briggs racers. Our total focus is on winning, and we simply get the job done. Join our team, and we can help you win too. We have several levels of support available for 2024, from full-service arrive and drive programs to tent-only options. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned veteran, our championship-winning, PPK-prepared Coyote Zenith karts are ready to power you to great results. Join our team today. To become a Precision Performance Karting driver or to learn more about our operation, contact John Seglem at ppkartingfl@gmail.com or check us out online at ppkartingfl.com. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in karting, and we're primed and ready for the 2022 season with new material and a never-ending focus on winning. CRG Nordam is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, CRG Nordam supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 is our new chassis for tag and shifter racing, and it's been designed specifically for the US market. The KT5 features 30mm construction with a 32mm front loop to increase front grip. CRG's new VEN 13 brake system is cutting-edge technology with a master cylinder that allows for pressure regulation within the system. Drivers can customize brake pressure to their own requirements to improve feel and to avoid brake lockup. The kart is finished with new KG 507, 508 bodywork that has refined aerodynamics and reduced weight. For cadet drivers, the 2022 CRG Black Mirror is already logging positive results to start the new season. This chassis will be making big waves in 2022. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know that the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, is still available. With 4-cycle racing enjoying consistent growth in North America, CRG's FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs & Stratton competition. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. CRG Nordam has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to www.kartcrg.com, and to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at info@kartcrg-nordam.com.
Welcome back to our EKN Debrief, the episode 123. It is Wednesday, January 17th. David Cole here, joined by Nate Dean, as we break down the Superkarts USA Winter Series event on January 12th through the 14th at the AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex, presented by MG Tires. We now get into our race report, which is presented by Comet Kart Sales. History, success, family. These are 3 words that best describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation is located just outside Indianapolis and has provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers in the near 6 decades of business. Their online store features everything you need, and they are continually adding new parts to their product line. Make sure you head to cometkartsales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be part of the Comet Kart Sales family today. Nate, the first class we're going to look at is the Pro X30, presented by Speed Lab Racing Engines. The headline is Norberg and Dutulio conquer the dry and wet. And as we said, Saturday was dry, super hot, super warm. Jacob Kohler, one of the local drivers for Vice Karting, I believe the team on the Kart Republic, was able to set fast time at 48.018. But it was Donovan Bonilla, the Superkarts USA Super Nationals 26 winner, able to outgun a hectic pre-final that was pretty fun to watch. But when it came to main event time, Ryan Norberg, the 5-time Superkarts USA Pro Tour champion, was able to essentially take the lead on the opening lap and stretched away lap by lap as Austin Garrison and Alessandro Di Tullio gave chase. Unable to reel in the Brian Norberg, who was seeking his first victory since October of 2022, when he won the IME USA Grand National Championship. And Norberg went wire to wire, coming away with a 1.1 second victory aboard his RPG Cosmic.
Yeah, and I mean, like we talked about in the preview show, you want to get that win just done and dusted when you've had that long of a streak. So he doesn't have to worry about getting that first win throughout the season. He can just go about doing his business. Alessandro Tullio, like you said, coming in behind with 2 more Kart Republics behind him, with Thomas DeBow, and coming fourth, Jacob Kohler, and then Harley Keeble in 5th for Sodi. You said Austin Garrison was in that fight as well, but on the coming to the white flag, I think it was Kohler and Garrison that got into each other a little bit in the final corner, put Garrison in the wall, was able to get going, but put a unfortunate end to Garrison's day on Saturday.
Yeah, was put in the wall there, coming to the white flag, ended up finishing in the 8th spot. So got in the wall, but was able to continue. Luckily, they had a big enough gap to where he only fell to 8th, because it could have been a lot worse for Garrison. The hard charger of the race was Jorge Ortiz on the Kart Republic for Chad Dawkin Racing, 19 spots, 36 to 17th. And then I think Garrison kind of had the aggression carry over into Sunday, because he was able to lay down the quick lap in qualifying with a 47.472. So nearly 0.6 quicker than what Kohler did on Saturday. So again, fast time in the heat or in the main event on Saturday was Kolar. He did a 47.7. So they were actually 0.3 quicker in the main event on Saturday than they did in qualifying. So that shows you the rubber kept getting laid down and the track was getting grippier and grippier as the weekend went on. That was until the rain started to hit and the pre-final for the X30 Pro was under the wet. It was the first wet session of the day. So the wet tires came out for this group with Alessandro Di Tullio taking over and taking the win in the pre-final. And from the pole position was able to show the way in the main event, leading wire to wire to grab his first Pro X30 victory in the of the season to be able to win by 1.7 seconds at the line.
Yeah, and we'll get into KA Senior in a little bit, but getting that taken away from him, obviously that may have pushed him to put that gap to Brennan Carr behind, who was charging through the field for him, trying to find how many spots he gained.
Well, he went 15th to second.
Yeah,
in the pre-final. Yeah,
he was making his way up there. He was enjoying those conditions, and then Kart Republic 1, 2, 3 on the podium. Jacob Kolar making it a third place finish. Ryan Norberg had a difficult time in the opening laps with everyone trying to figure out who's going to lead the way up to Alessandro Tullio. They messed around with each other for so long that ultimately none of them would. And then obviously Norberg finishing fourth, and then Thomas Naveau, one of the drivers that Norberg would have a few points of contact with throughout the race, coming in fifth.
Yeah. So, first the hard charger, Danilo Albanese, the factory Kart Republic driver racing with Inter MS, had a pre-final DNF. And so he gained 30 spots in what was a 12-lap race, going from 39th to 9th. So an amazing wet weather performance. He was his quick lap was only 0.2 off of what Di Tullio was able to do. So certainly they had the right combination under the Inter MS tent for wet weather conditions at Homestead. You look at it, though, with Norberg and Di Tullio taking victories, they both were able to finish in the top 5 both days, along with Thomas Naveau and Jacob Kolar. So you got probably those 4 drivers that are going to be leading the way in the championship chase when it gets into next month. So that'll be pretty exciting. We don't have really any driver in this category that stood out aside from Norberg and Di Tullio picking up the 2 victories. So that'll be fun when we get into February for rounds 3 and 4. We now head into the Pro Shifter category presented by PSL Karting. The headline, Formal doubles up to begin busy 2024 season. It will certainly be a busy season for him as he's going to be racing in the IMSA program with the Andretti Wayne Taylor Racing program. Excited to see him. But first, he wanted to get some karting sessions in. Got to Homestead, which was one of his home racetracks back when he was younger. So this guy knows this racetrack very well. But so does Alan Isambard on the Sodi Kart Racing or Sodi Racing USA machine. Was able to set fast time in qualifying and hold off Formal for a pre-final victory. But when it came to the main event, Formal just put the muscle up and was able to win the fight early, leading the rest of the way to a 2-second margin of victory after 22 laps, as he was able to benefit from fighting behind him for second. That included Isambard, Morgato, Saraceno, and Bailiff.
Yeah, and Danny just seemed very confident, I'd say, in just knowing what he had to do. I think against Isambard really throughout Saturday and Sunday. AJ Myers there on site, not racing with his Magikarp team, but saying that, Isambard's going to be a threat to Formal. It should be a good one. But Isambard had the pace, like you said, getting the pre-final and qualifying, but Danny just is one of those drivers that is so hard to race against. And like you said, Formal taking the win in the final. Morgado finishing second in his first gearbox start, I think, in some time, or the first time on U.S. soil. Isambard third, rounded out the podium for Sony Kart. Vincenzo Saraceno for Maranello came in fourth, and then Gavin Bailiff for Trinity Karting Group and Kart Republic in 5th.
Yeah, it was the first start on U.S. soil for Mercado in the shifter category, so that was pretty exciting to watch. I think he's still got some bugs to work out. We'll talk about his Sunday performance as well, but Formal is just so smooth, has nearly a decade of shifter kart racing under his belt, if not more. So it's just you can see the difference. But Morgado's got speed. I think he's just got to get the consistency worked out. He actually had a faster lap time in the main event than Formal did. So he's got the pace. I think the consistency is what's going to be needed to be improved for the former world champion. Cooper Becklin was the hard charger of the race aboard the RPG Cosmic, moving up 7 spots, 13th to 6. So that was that for Saturday. We got into Sunday, and again, Isambard, again, quicker in qualifying with a 45.471. So that was about 0.4 of a second quicker than what we had on Saturday. So again, this tire, or the grip that was laid down, because again, they were using the older Evinco tires. If that means the softer tire is going to have more grip, that's going to be, we got to expect to see really quick lap times throughout the next 3 years for this category. The pro shifter, master shifter drivers went out on a racetrack, essentially on a damp racetrack with dry tires. So nobody switching over, because it wasn't raining quite hard enough yet to move over to the rain tires. So they were on dry tires. So it was pretty fun to watch these guys kind of battle that out on the racetrack, and Formal was able to master the field. Got the whole shot to begin the main event, but Isambard put the challenge on. He was on the outside as they made their way through turn 3 and just went off track just enough to be collected by a water puddle, sent him spinning around into the back of the field. This gave Formal basically a clear shot as he was able to lead I believe the entire distance. I'm pulling up the race right now. 12 laps is what they were able to carry. I believe it was 10 minutes plus 1 lap. So that's what they were able to get. And Formal was able to stretch out to a 10-second margin over 12 laps to be able to score a second straight victory.
Yeah, and that 10-second margin, not really surprise. Obviously, Formal was very quick and really the one to be in the final on Saturday. But when it comes to rain racing, having a little bit more weight and higher up, never hurts you. I mean, if people will buy the cushions to put in the seat just so you can get your weight higher up, and with how Danny's built, having a lot more muscle on top than other drivers, that obviously helping him. Watching him go through corners and the way he would lean almost like a KA senior driver to get the thing to just grip and power out of it was something to watch. But like you said, 10.1 second margin to Mateus Morgado on the Burrell Art machine. Rolson Performance Group teammate to Formal, Cooper Becklin in 3rd, then Alan Isambard, after getting quite wet in the opening a couple of corners, managed to get to 4th, and then Jared Ramnaran for the Leclerc chassis ending up in 5th.
Yeah, Anthony Martella was the hard charger of the race on the PSL Burrell Art, moving up 4 spots, 11th to 7th after he retired in the pre-final. And I'll just say it right here, but we'll talk about it later. Scott Sketchy Barnes was the top Masters driver who actually ended up finishing 5th overall. They started at the tail end of the field, and he was able to drive his way to 5th overall. So a great drive by him. I told him to take off the weight and race pro shifter next month, but I think he'll stick in the Masters weight. So with that, we'll head into the KA100 Senior Division presented by Sodi Racing USA. Our headline, DiTullio and Richards split victories. And Saturday was a sweep by Alessandro DiTullio, the Inter-MS Kart Republic driver, setting fast time in qualifying, winning the pre-final, and then going wire to wire in the main event for a 2.6 second margin of victory. It looked to be like Ernesto Rivera was going to be able to close in on him late in the race, but just was not able to cut into that big gap that DiTullio was able to establish early on. And so that essentially gave the Florida driver a perfect record on the opening day for K100 Senior.
Yeah, and just looks so confident out there, especially on the Car Public chassis. He seems like he's found a home after jumping ship from Parolin to Burrell, and now here at Inter MS seems like he's at a bit of a happy place there. Nestor Rivera coming in second, like you said, was closing down on him at some points throughout the race, but ultimately wasn't able to get that done. Then you had Miller in third, Lloyd fourth, and Leonardo Scorpione rounding out your top five in fifth.
Hard charger of the race was Alex Mercado, the senior rookie under the Speed Concepts Racing tent on the red speed, was able to gain, I did the math wrong there, 29 spots, moving from 42nd to 13th. So a solid drive. He was only 3/10 off the fast time of the race, and that was set by Ernesto Rivera, who did a 49.6. So only 3/10 slower than what DiTullio was able to put down in qualifying. So moving into Sunday, Rivera, who had fast lap on Saturday at the end of the day, put that into a fast time in qualifying. He was able to lay down a 48.931 for fast time in qualifying for K100 Senior. But it was DiTullio who was able to come away with the pre-final win. And then it was those two going at it early on in the main event until Rivera was put on the sideline with a mechanical issue. That allowed DiTullio to master the wet weather conditions and drive away to the provisional victory. It had to have been like 14 seconds, something like that. It just seemed like an unsurmountable margin of victory when he did cross the line. Unfortunately, he was found to be disqualified following tech, as the two, what was it? What was the ruling again? I'm trying. Rear. So what they wrote is rear protection past rear width. So essentially what that means is the rear bumper extended past the width of the rear tires, which is not allowed in Superkarts USA competition. Now, in the old days, we used to just narrow up the rear end, and that was kind of the racing thing. But now with the way the bumpers are stuck out so far, they don't want that to happen in order to catch on karts. So in order to alleviate that, they don't allow the rear tire to go within the width of the rear bumper. So if you got the adjustable rear width, so it's almost like we might now need rain bumpers, right, Nate, to where you can adjust it and narrow up your rear bumper so you can narrow in the rear width of the tires. So that's essentially what happened with DiTullio. So he lost the victory, and it was given to Ivana Richards, who put on an amazing performance next to DiTullio. She was the driver on the move. Now, her lap times weren't anything outside of the ordinary. I mean, everybody had very similar lap times to what she did. Actually, there were some that were even quicker. But it was Richards who was able to knife her way up from 11th up to what was now the top step of the podium. So her first SCUSA victory in the K100 senior category, as she was ahead of Donovan Bonilla by 5.6 seconds at the line. Yeah,
and watching her carve through the field and just have fine pace where everyone else was finding water and aquaplaning was something to see. So really, really good run for her in the entire HRI Mexico camp. Donovan Bonilla finishing behind her in second, Chase Biscaglia in third, making up about 12 spots to Noah Rosser coming in fourth, and then coming in fifth and rounding out your top five, Steven Eisert for Sodikart after switching to the Sodikart brand. A really good run for him. Before we get to hard charger, going back through the field, there is a lot of drivers who would have, on any normal day, might have gotten hard charger. Luke Welcome up 27 spots, Mateo Rubio Luengo up 28, Dalton Haynes up 27. Those guys finishing just outside the top 10. But David, it was a certain Austin Olds who got hard charger for the final.
Yeah, it was Austin. Yeah, he had the most out of anybody. Yeah, a lot of hard chargers in this race because of the wet conditions and drivers retiring. He was able to gain 35 spots in the 18-lap race, moving up from 45th to 10th in the race. So a great drive by Austin Olds in what he'll now be his first full season in the senior category. So great start for him to be able to get that top 10 finish in rain racing conditions. So with that, we'll head into our next commercial break. And after these commercials, we'll have X30 Junior, K100 Junior to discuss and recap after these commercials.
It's a multi-time world champion, and it's a Superkarts USA Super Nationals winner. It is Sodikart. And starting in 2023, the Sodi brand has found a new home here in the US. Sodi Racing USA is the new exclusive importer of the Sodikart chassis line under the karting distribution banner, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer Sodikart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers product in classes from Mini to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has already begun establishing its dealer network, working with the Karting Collective on the West Coast and recently signing PK Sport to serve as a dealer and the official race team on the East Coast. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about the Sodikart chassis line or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodikart, the world leader in the karting industry. The new face of competitive karting in the Pacific Northwest region is RaceLab. The full-service karting operation is located at the state-of-the-art Kartplex facility in Oliver, British Columbia, Canada, providing everything you need to hit the track or put yourself in a successful driver development program. RaceLab is the official North American distributor for the TB Kart chassis brand, providing the full range of models from kid kart to shifter kart. Villeneuve Racing Karts is their flagship product, available only through RaceLab. The brand carries the name of Formula One champion and Indianapolis 500 winner Jacques Villeneuve, with each model produced by TB Kart. Kartplex, the home of RaceLab, is situated on the grounds of the Area 27 Motorsports Park. From full arrive and drive TB Kart rentals to leagues and competition karting, the facility provides a new home to developing the future stars of motorsports, all beginning at Kartplex with RaceLab. Follow RaceLab on social media on Facebook and Instagram, or load up their website at www.theracelab.ca to learn more about TB Kart and Villeneuve Racing Karts. RaceLab. Race with us, win with us.
Welcome back to EKN Debrief. Is episode 123, January 17th, 2024, as we review the Superkarts USA Winter Series opening weekend at the AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex presented by MG Tires. We now get into the X30 Junior category presented by Rollison Performance Group as we continue our race report presented by Comet Kart Sales. The headline for this division: Brown and Ardiles carry momentum into 2024 season. When we ended last 2023, these two drivers were certainly among those that finished the year strong and knew they were going to be among the top contenders coming into 2024. Ardiles set the tone on Saturday, setting fast time in qualifying and winning the pre-final. But in the main event, Ardiles led nearly every lap, led the first 21 circuits of the 22-lap main event until Turner Brown was able to make a deep move into turn 5 on the last lap. Essentially, Ardiles went in with the normal racing line, didn't defend, thinking Brown was too far back, but Brown just made it stick, going in hard and deep in the tight hairpin turn 5 corner, making it stick, and was able to catch Ardiles off guard as he was unable to kind of counterattack with the move, and Brown was able to drive his way to the victory by 0.181 seconds at the line.
Yeah, and that was a move and a half by Turner to get past Ardiles. He had to be at least 3.5 kart lengths back from the RPG driver, with Ardiles finishing in second, close, but no win for Ardiles. Jackson Wolney finishing in third behind him. Sarah Bradley and then Alexander Vanchev rounding out your top 5 that have a bit of reshuffling after some post-race penalties.
Yeah, Vidmontien was actually the driver that came across the line in 4th, but a cutting the track penalty put him from 4th to 7th. So that moved Bradley up into 4th and Vanchev into 5th. So actually 3 Speed Concept Racing drivers in the top 5 to wrap up Saturday's action. So good performance by them. Ty Fisher, the hard charger of the race, moving up 14 spots, 22nd to 8th. And a great drive by him, nearly running lap times similar to that of the leaders. So a good drive after a tough pre-final, which I believe he got involved in a wreck, which put him towards the back of the field for this one. So moving into Sunday, Ardiles responded with fast times once again, setting a fast time in qualifying with a 47.975, so nearly a half second quicker than what he did on Saturday, and then drove to the race win on Sunday's pre-final. In the main event, it was all Ardiles. He was able to fend off the drivers in the wet. I want to say the track it wasn't raining as hard in this race, so it was just a wet racetrack, but not so much rain coming down any longer. So he was I think he was the only driver to get into the sub 1 minute lap time on the racetrack. One other driver as well too, but he was Fausto Arnaldo. He was actually Inter MS driver, the Kart Republic. I forgot he was in the top 5 until making contact with the barrier on the last lap, ending his chance at finishing in the top 5. But up front, it was Ardiles that was able to drive away to a 4-second margin of victory.
Yeah, and Turner Brown right behind him. So going into the second leg of the winter series for SCUSA, doing the reverse direction, it should be interesting to see those two battle it out for the championship, because ultimately you got to think it's going to be between those two. Wolney in third could be a bit of a dark horse heading into AMR2. Ty Fisher coming in 4th after a really, really impressive weekend for him. He's going to be one to watch in 2024. And then Enzo Vidmontien rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, so Fisher took advantage because it was Arnado that went into the fence, was running 4th at the time. And that moved Fisher up into the 4th spot, moving Vidmontien into 5th. So yeah, like you said, Ty Fisher certainly with a solid weekend to open up the 2024 season, going 8th on Saturday and then 4th on Sunday. But yeah, Wolney might be the driver to that kind of be the wild card in what is right now a championship battle between Brown and Ardiles, as they were both 1st and 2nd both days, with Wolney 3rd in both days. So that'll be interesting to watch going into next month. Alexander Vanchev, the hard charger of the race, 19 spots, going 29th to 10th on the wet racetrack. That will head into KA100 Junior, presented by Nash Motorsports. And I did not write a headline on this one, Nate. Let's see. I guess you could just say Garzone and Ardiles set the pace for KA100 Junior, which they did. Garzone and Ardiles were essentially the top 2 drivers on Saturday. Garzone picking up the top spot in qualifying, going on to win his pre-final, while Diego Ardiles won his pre-final, where we saw the top 15 from each pre-finals transferred into the main event, and then the top 14 from the LCQ joined them to make a 44 driver field. In the main event, it was a 4-driver lead pack: Garzone, Ardiles, Vidmontien, and Walter Jenkins IV, joining the RPG Cosmic crew. So Ardiles and Jenkins, the 2 teammates in this race pack, it didn't seem like there was any teammate working nobody working together, because it was a pretty good battle with all 4 drivers going at it in the main event. But in the end, however, I'm trying to get to my notes here. Garzone was able to kind of put himself at the front of the field and essentially just fight off the rest of the pack with closing laps of the race. So he moved there with coming to the white flag and then held on to the lead for because of a fight for second behind him. So it gave him enough space to be able to reach the checkered flag nearly 0.4 of a second ahead of the field for his first victory of the 2024 season.
Yeah, the driver who crossed the line first, as we know, at the Super Nationals that eventually got taken away, able to start his 2024 off with a bang. Enzo Vidmontien behind him, gaining some positions along the way. Diego Ardiles in third. Walter Jenkins, one of the drivers who was really impressive in this category, coming in fourth for Rolson Performance Group. And then again, Alexander Vanchev with another top 5 finish.
Yeah, Christopher Wakefield, the Sodikart driver who was impressive at the end of 2023 season as well. He improved 23 spots, going 42nd to 19th, where he finished 12th in the LCQ. So was able to muscle his way up 23 spots in 22 laps to wrap up Saturday. Nate, I'm just going to put in a mental note. So Turner Brown in Super Nationals 25 crossed the line first in Mini Swift. Wasn't able to take the victory because it was taken away due to a penalty. Garzone, kind of the same thing last year, as you just said, in this category at Super Nationals 26. I'm gonna make him my early projection to win this category at Super Nationals 27. So I just want that on the record right now. All right,
it's not a bad shout. I mean, with obviously he was strong at the Super Nats, and then he's carrying that momentum, and he's going to have a whole nother year to learn and develop as a driver. So I don't see why not. He'd definitely be in the top 5. Calling that now, but I think there's still a ton of talent in junior. But hey,
right.
that's
don't steal my pick though.
I'll figure something. Right. I might go Turner again. I might.
There we go. Yeah, you never know. Exactly. So with qualifying, I wrote this wrong in the script, so I'll get it right now. It was Walter Jenkins the fourth, picking up fast time in qualifying with a 49.371. So that was, I did not rate Garzone's fast time. So it was, I'm assuming it was quicker than it was on Sunday. So a pretty good debut for Jenkins on the Rolson Performance Group tent to be able to be quickest in qualifying. However, it was Vidmontien and Garzone that picked up the wins in the pre-final, so they were set for the front row of the main event, which we saw Garzone lead early, again, in wet weather conditions, until Ardiles was able to get himself up into the P1 position. Ardiles actually qualified 10th overall and was able to work his way forward in the pre-finals, getting up into... Can't find it here. Just a second. Oh, wrong one. Got up to second in the pre-final. So was starting from the second row. And again, as we said, got into the lead in the main event just before the halfway point, and essentially was the leader the rest of the way. Garzone got into a bit of trouble, actually spun just after he lost the lead. And so that dropped him back a little bit further. But up front, Ardiles, when he got out into lead, led the rest of the way, leading the remainder of the 18-lap race to be able to pull out a 4-second victory to wrap up a double win performance on Sunday.
Yeah, really good run for him. One of the only drivers to break into the not sub 1 minute, but into that 1 minute bracket where everyone was kind of hovering around the 101 time, getting really close to that. Enzo Vidmontien was one of those drivers just 600ths away, who finished in second from breaking into that bracket. Like I said, 4 seconds back from the RPG driver of Ardiles. Turner Brown rounding out the podium for KA100 Junior, and then Ty Fisher, another really, really impressive performance from him. And then Sebastian Garzone finishing in 5th.
Yeah, Fisher, the actual hard charger of the race, 35th to 4th in the main event. So he got 31 spots in 18 laps in the main event. Let's add to it the 25 spots that he gained in the last chance qualifier. He went from 30th to 5th in that race alone. So he gained 56 spots over the course of 2 races. That's just a great drive. And I think Ty Fisher is a rain racer. I'm going to put that out there. So if we do go to a race where Ty Fisher is at and it's raining, I'm going to be projecting him to be among the top runners for sure, as he was super fast and super confident in the wet weather conditions at the end on Sunday there. With that, we'll enter our next commercial break, and when we return, it'll be K100 Master and Master Shifter.
It all started in my parents' garage. That's the foundation for MPG Motorsports, which grew from a small home garage in Indiana into one of the top race teams and kart shops in the industry. A true passion for motorsports runs deep in the DNA of MPG, which has developed strong connections within karting. Now based at the Whiteland Raceway Park in central Indiana, MPG Motorsports offers a wide range of opportunities through its race team while providing a full-service kart shop as an official dealer for the Kart Republic brand. The MPG Motorsports race team is led by ownership partner and karting champion Chase Jones and provides full trackside service and driver development. Be part of the MPG program at the USPKS, Stars Championship Series, and Route 66 Sprint Series events with arrive and drive opportunities available at those programs, as well as at the Whiteland Club races this season. A new 3,500 square foot shop is now open at the Whiteland Raceway Park in Whiteland, Indiana, and is the new home of MPG Motorsports. This new headquarters will provide local and regional racers with a full-service race shop that provides a wide range of parts and supplies to racers, including the full chassis line of the Kart Republic brand. For more, head to mpg-motorsports.com and follow us on social media. Let MPG Motorsports take your motorsports career in the direction of your choice. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. Ignite Karting utilizes the spec Margay Ignite K3 with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and a Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the junior, senior, and masters classes compete on the same Ignite K3 chassis, which puts all the emphasis squarely on driver development. Additionally, Ignite Karting is accessible at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for the 2023 season include the Ignite Majors, which begins with the annual trip to the Daytona International Speedway as part of the WKA Daytona Kart Week as part of both the sprint and road racing events. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the regionally based Ignite Challenge, which just finished up a record-setting season in 2022. Local club programs have also been established in other states all across the country, from Idaho to Texas, Nebraska to New York, with more tracks and clubs joining the Ignite Karting program. Be part of fast fun and great memories with Margay Racing at an Ignite track near you. All information on Ignite events and Ignite Kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and out onto the track in 2023. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion.
We return with the EKN Debrief. It is episode 123. David Cole and Nate Dean here providing you a recap of the Superkarts USA Winter Series opener at the AMR Motorplex in Homestead, Florida. We now look at the Elder Drivers, which is K100 Master, presented by Alessandros Racing. The headline, exciting battle underway with Garrido and Ravello splitting. So the defending champion, Michelle Garrido, returned, setting fast time in qualifying, winning the pre-final, and was the driver to be entering the main event. Just before the main event, however, a little bit of a sprinkle kind of came down on the racetrack, but that was the only wetness that we had all day on Saturday. It was actually kind of a relief because it kind of cooled off just a little bit when the sprinkle came down. Unfortunately, Miguel Mir, who started second, was involved in a spin in turn 2 at the start, so that kind of shuffled up the field. And as they raced on, Ruben Ravello actually became the driver that was the challenger for Garrido. Ravello was able to take the lead on lap 3, and wrong race. Let me get to it. Was able to I want to say about the halfway point, get into the lead of the 22 lap race and was able to pace the field. Unfortunately, after he crossed the checkered flag as the provisional winner, was deemed non-compliant, as with the non-compliant reed pedals, which removed him from the top spot of the podium and moved Michel Garrido to the top spot of the podium, earning him a victory in his first race as defending class champion.
Yeah, and then 2.1 seconds back, that would be Mario Dominguez in second on the red speed, then Diego Rodriguez for Cosmic running out the podium, Miguel Mir in fourth, and then Alan Giraldi coming in fifth for an all OTK top five.
Elaine Giraldi. That's how I would say it. Perfect. There you go. Hard charger of the race, Jesus Portillo on the Tony Kart, moving up 11 spots, 19th to 8th. And then we went into Sunday. Miguel Mir, looking for redemption, was the driver to beat. Won set fast time in qualifying, putting a 50.856. So essentially 2/10 of a lap, or 2/10 of a second quicker than what was set on Saturday. And Mir came back and won the pre-final, and then the main event again in the wet weather. So it kind of was shuffled up the field a little bit as they battled. And Ravello was actually the driver able to pick up the lead within 3 laps of the race. And the timed race went 11 laps in total. And Ravello was able to lead the remainder of the race, reaching the checkered flag by over 4 seconds to celebrate a victory and hold through when he got through technical inspections. So 2 different drivers taking victories on the weekend.
Yeah, and then 4.4 back, Miguel Mir. The Tony Kart coming in second, Diego Rodriguez running out the podium for Sunday, Jesus Portillo in fourth, and then Mario Dominguez running out the top 5.
And going into forgot hard charger, Kim Carapolati, the one of 2 brothers that continue to race the Masters divisions across the eastern half of the country. Kim on the comp cart moved up 8 spots, 15th to 7th. So it was actually his brother, Scott Carapolati, looked really fast in the pre-final because it was a little bit of a mist coming down for their pre-final. And Scott Carapolati looked good, but did not complete a lap or did not start the main event. So Kim Carapolati took over and got the hard charger of the race. With that, we'll head into Master Shifter presented by Inter MS. Defending champion Barnes returns for 2 more. So Scott Sketchy Barnes, the defending champion, was able to win both Saturday and Sunday main events as he was able to outrun Frank Runco, the only other driver in the field. Scott Barnes was 5th overall. I don't know why it says 4th. I think he thought he was 4th, but it's 5th. So he finished 5th overall in the wet on Sunday. So a great performance by him, as we talked about earlier during the Pro Shifter category. And we'll now head into our penultimate commercial break as we'll continue the race report presented by Comet Kart Sales. And with that, we'll get into Mini Swift and Micro Swift.
Established in 1999, PSL Karting has become a powerhouse within the karting industry for North America and around the world. PSL Karting is your complete source for all Burrell Art products as the North American importer, providing this top quality product through both their expansive dealer network or through the PSLkarting.com online store. Whatever you need is available 24/7 online, including safety gear, parts, components, and full karting packages. All 3 brands, Burrell Art, Ricardo Kart, and Charles Leclerc Karts, are in stock and ready to hit the track. Grab your winning chassis for any category by visiting PSLkarting.com to find your nearest dealer. PSL Karting is always looking for interest in new dealers and teams to help create new business relationships. Drivers looking to take their talents to the next level can join the Burrell Art North America race team, competing at all the major U.S. and Canadian events this season. When you're ready to win, go with PSL Karting. It all started in 1994, when former successful kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Fast forward 20 years, and Parolin's passion for the sport led to the company rejoining international competitions as a factory team in WSK and CIK FIA races, with the aim of enhancing the research and development process, immediately achieving notable results around Europe, North America, and Asia, becoming the CIK FIA Asia Pacific KZ champion in the same year. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory team at all of the major Superkarts USA and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2021 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior classes, and the 28mm mini kart for the cadet classes. Parolin has been winning races all over the world, and it's on top of the podium in the USA as well, with drivers like Kai Sorensen, Mateus Orjuela, and Alessandro De Tullio. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com.
And we return with the EKN Debrief, episode 123. It is January 17th, 2024, as we review the Superkarts USA Winter Series opener from the AMR Motorplex in Homestead, Florida. We are continuing our race report, which is presented by Comet Kart Sales, and we'll now kind of give a review of Mini Swift presented by Trinity Karting Group. And the headline is Truchot and Simone set tone in Mini. Saturday was a complete sweep for Alessandro Truchot, the defending Mini Swift champion. He was able to set fast time in qualifying, win the pre-final, and handedly win the main event, going wire to wire to an 8-second margin of victory at his home track at AMR Homestead, Miami Motorplex, presented by MG Tires. Say that 5 times fast. So a great opening round by Truchot to start the season.
It's a bit of a tongue twister,
It is.
How is that doing for the 1 minute flats, saying that every day?
I think I said it better in those than I am now.
A little bit of pressure under this. Alessandro Truchot, like you said, taking the win. Benji Fernandez and then Rocco Simone rounding up the podium, and then Valentino Santillan, I believe I'm probably butchering that, but hey, coming in 4th, and then Parker Ives coming in 5th, and also Hard Charger for Mini Swift, 15 spots for Ives to make it a top 5 finish.
Yeah, he actually didn't make a lap in qualifying, so had to come up from tail of the field, got up to 20th in the pre-final, and then continued moving forward in the main event. So a great debut for one of the the Mini Swift rookies in the field. We head into Sunday. This time it looked like Simone was the driver to beat with fast time in qualifying of 51.984. But Truchot was able to win the battle in the pre-final. But when it came to the wet, Simone had a little bit more than he did. Simone took control, or Truchot led early, but it was Simone that took over the lead in the main event. Looking at the lap time lap that it happened, lap 7. So just before the halfway mark again. I don't think this race was timed. I think it might have been 17 minutes plus 1 lap. I can't remember, but they got 18 laps in total. And Simone led a majority of them once he got out into the lead and was able to win the victory, or take the victory, by just over 0.4 of a second.
Yeah, Truchot, that driver that's 0.4 of a second behind in 2nd. Royce Vega finishing 3rd with fastest lap on the race. Troy Ferguson gaining a couple spots in 4th, and Ashton Woon running out the top 5, 6 seconds back from Simone.
Yeah, it was. Once Simone got out front, Truchot was sitting there trying to reel him in. We had the 2 Bennett karts of Vega and Ferguson trailing, and then Woon all by himself in the 5th spot, and then everybody else behind them. So not a very excited main event. Everything behind them was, but Great win for Simone to start off the 2024 season. Julian Rivera, one of the many rookies in the field, was the hard charger of the race. He went up 28th to 9th, so picked up 19 spots after recording a DNF in the pre-final. I saw this I actually have a photo of it. The left rear tire was sliding in on his rear axle, so it was the axle was sticking out about 5 inches at one point when he made his way around the right-hand corners. So it was good left-hand corners, but once he got to the right-hand corners, that the tire actually, I think, slid all the way into the chassis and was rubbing on the chassis. So didn't make for a great setup around the right-handers for sure. We'll go in now into our Micro Swift presented by Team U-Race. The headline, Burgess sweeps in dry and the wet. Yeah, Zane Burgess was the driver to beat all weekend long, nearly picking up a complete weekend sweep. Saturday was a sweep of his own, setting fast time in qualifying, winning the pre-final, and then holding off Liam Nakawati for the race win in the main event. I believe they kind of went back and forth a little bit on the final lap, going side by side. I think Burgess led every single lap, but Liam Nakawati was right there all race long. It was actually 3 drivers who got away. Danny O'Gara, the MPG driver on the Kart Republic, was right there, but kind of lost the draft towards the end of the race. So it was just Burgess and Nakawati. Nakawati waited till the last lap, made his move. The two got side by side for a number of corners, but Burgess was able to just secure the victory and winning the drag race to the line by 97 thousandths of a second.
Yeah, it was a close one between those two. Like you said, Nakawati coming in second there, fast time for him. Danny O'Gara also making up a few spots in third. Then Easton Kabinski, his Midwest partner to O'Gara, coming in fourth. And in fifth, Parker Stewart.
Hard charger of the race was Iker Alvarez on the CRG. I think one of the only 2 CRGs that were in the field or in the event all throughout the categories, picking up 23 spots, going 42nd to 19th. On Sunday, this was the only session that Zane Burgess did not lead, and it was Alvaro Bederos with a 53.272 to be able to shock the field with setting fast time in qualifying. But in the pre-final, Burgess returned to the front. I believe this was the race that was the main event was. So we'll get into that in a second. So Burgess was able to win his way into the pre-final. And then in the main event, again, the track wasn't quite as wet, I don't think, for these guys. Unfortunately, it went only 4 laps before the red flag came out. A big pile up in between essentially turn 3 and turn 4 down the middle of the straightaway. So I'm going to assume a driver kind of went off and returned right back in the middle of the field and collected a lot of carts. And a couple of drivers needed some medical assistance. So I believe they all were able to walk away from that. But at the last completed lap, it was Zane Burgess leading the way. So he was credited with the race victory with Santiago Orleo. How do you say it, Nate?
I think it's Oriole, from what I heard.
Orleole. He was leading on lap 5 when the red flag came out, so they had to go revert back to the last completed lap. So it was Zane Burgess on top of the podium, Orleole in second, and Marcelo Flores picking up 10 spots to stand on the podium in the third spot.
Yeah, it was, if I'm not mistaken, Burgess made a bit of a mistake and lost some positions right before they went red. And I think he kind of lucked out there, if I'm not mistaken there. So obviously he lucked out from that red flag. He went through the top 3. Jake Manillo in 4th. And then Anthony, this will be fun, Mazzucolo, I think is how you pronounce that again.
Mazzucolo, yep.
I apologize for that. But he rounded out the top 5 in what was a shortened final.
Yeah, the race actually was only 10 minutes plus one lap. When the red flag came out, it was, I believe, in the 6th minute. So that's why it was deemed past the halfway point and then reverted back to the last completed lap. So that was the ruling from Superkarts USA officials. Ian Hammaker on the Sodi kart picked up, went 32nd to 16th in that short amount of time, 16 spots to be able to earn the hard charger for the race. And with that, we'll head into our final commercial breaks. We'll do a wrap up. We will do Constructors Championship and our EKN Trackside Live race calendar after this break.
Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rawlison Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national-level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlison Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlison Performance Group. We race to win. "2019 marked a new era for the Cartlift brand. The company that Tim Coyne owned and operated since 2003, one with a long tradition of quality products for the karting industry, was purchased by Ted Fashing and his business, Stockholm Karting Center, in October of 2019. Stockholm Karting Center Inc. has added the Cartlift brand to their very successful Triple T Race Products brand that has been fabricating parts for the drag racing industry for the past 25 years. We're small enough where the owner answers the phone and every call is important to us, but we're large enough to get the job done. We pride ourselves on the quality and personal customer service that we provide on the phone or at the track. Cartlift stands, as you know, can be found at racetracks all over the country. If you race alone, or if you're a parent with a cadet or junior driver, let our one-man winch lift make your race days easier. Position the hooks under the rear bumper, push the button, and your cart is raised into position and you're ready to go. We have traditional cart stands, single upright storage stands, cart lift stackers for storing 2 carts at once, tire changers, and skid plate kits. Cart lift stands are available at the finest kart shops around the country, or you can order online at cartlift.com. For more information, give us a call at 877-777-8020. That's 877-777-8020. Get a cart lift and leave your crew at home.
Welcome back to our final segment of the EKN Debrief, episode 123, as we review the Superkarts USA Winter Series opener from the AMR Motorplex in Homestead, Florida. Wrap up, essentially looking at, this was a record-setting event for Superkarts USA. They were able to set 291 entries for the event, so nearly getting up to the 300 mark, which hasn't been even close in previous Winter Series events. So a great way, Nate, to start out the year for Superkarts USA.
Yeah, and hopefully those numbers carry into the Pro Tour, and obviously Supernaturals is always the big one. So, I mean, a really, really great turnout for a Winter Series race, especially with how compact the calendar is for these first couple of months between many series. Also just running in Florida and really going back to back on dates. So it says a lot about the program that SCUSA is running.
And with Homestead, it always rains. I'm telling you, I know you guys might have lucked out last year, but every time I go, it's going to rain. And that's essentially going to be the story going into the finale weekend. Will it rain in February? It's Super Bowl weekend, so lots of bets are going to be placed. I'm going to bet that it's going to rain. I don't, Nate, if you had to bet, which would you pick?
It's gonna rain. Like you said, it's Homestead, it's Florida, it's gonna rain.
Yeah, it's funny. We were sitting there looking at the radar, and there was this cell that was sitting just south of Florida, and it kept just throwing rain up our way. Like just occasional cells, occasional cell, an occasional cell. And that's exactly what happened on Sunday. And it was just strange to see that. And again, it was coming from the east, which was weird. Again, anything and anything can happen in Florida. And as we talked about earlier, we got some interesting championship battles heading into the series finale. I think that's going to be really key. We'll talk a lot about it and during our outlet preview podcast that we'll record just prior to the event. But certainly a great start to the 2024 season. We had I think only two drivers picking up 2 victories, if I did my math correct, in the same category, at least. Yeah, I think only 2 drivers. So really, the championships are up for grabs. Winning is going to be a key. If the drivers who did, Zane Burgess and Micro, and then Scott Barnes picking up 2 wins in Master Shifter, that's going to be key. If you didn't pick up a win, you got to pick them up in February. That's going to be the key aspect in a championship chase. Anything else that kind of stands out for the event for yourself, Nate? I know you weren't there, but you watched online, you saw the race reports and social media. Anything else that stands out for the event?
I think championship wise, there's a lot of classes where one driver would, 2 different winners on both days, but the person who won the other was within that podium or in just runner up. So obviously we'll put some pressure on those guys, but like we said in a couple other of those classes, that there are some people who had some really strong runs this weekend. And like we saw last year, some people just fare better going the opposite direction. Some people struggle a little bit. Ultimately, it is the same track, but with a different flow to it and different challenges, a bit more curb hopping in some places to get some lap times. So should be interesting going into AMR2 to see who excels going the other direction. Like we said, putting the bets on it. Will it rain? Because obviously we did see there are some drivers who clearly excel in those wet conditions, like Alessandro Tullio, like Ty Fisher. If we see some wet weather again, they're obviously going to be up front and competitive if they run again. So, a ton of really fun to watch racing, and can really take the eyes off the action for some classes. So really looking forward and hoping that can have that level of entertainment going into AMR2 in February.
And I love the clockwise direction. Going back to 2022 when I was there, it provides a little bit more drama going into the final, essentially 4 corners. You got 5 corners, really. You got both hairpins. You got the left-right combination heading into the final corner, which has, runoff room, but it doesn't have runoff room because they have the walls there. So it makes it a very interesting final segment, final sector heading to the finish line, which is a ways away. So you still got to get through all that and finish down the stretch, as they would say in horse racing. So I'm excited for it. I think it produces more excitement and more interesting racing, because as you said, it's not the normal direction they run, but they do run it. So maybe it takes away kind of the local side of it and kind of opens up the field. So again, we'll wait and see when we get there next month. Now we'll head into the Constructors Championship, where we saw 8 brands take on the 18 victories on the weekend.
Yeah, Cosmic being the one that stood on top of the imaginary podium. Most of those coming from Rolson Performance Group. Kart Republic and Tony Kart tied at 3. Sodi and Magic Kart picking up 2 wins, and then 1 each for Red Speed, EOS, and Parolin.
Yeah, again, diversity. That's what we love to see. We love to see a number of different brands picking up victories, and that's what we did to open up the 2024 season. Our EKN Trackside Live race calendar is presented by Franklin Motorsports. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry with over 50 years of combined karting experience, and they can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track supports events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. They specialize in IME engines, tilt seats, and of course their championship-winning Merlin chassis. They've been supplying racers with start-to-finish support at race events for years, from providing a helping hand on a weekday test outing or at a club event to full arrive and drive packages at the highest level of karting competition. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. So our next Trackside Live event will be February 2nd through the 4th, Challenge of the Americas at the Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, Arizona. We're dubbing this T1 as it'll be the first of 2 weekends at the Musselman Honda Circuit for Challenge of the Americas, as they'll kind of duplicate what Superkarts USA Winter Series does, and opening up the 2 events of 3 at the Tucson, Arizona facility. So kind of similar to what we see at the Supercross with A1, A2. We're going to do T1 and T2 just after we did AMR1 in Homestead.
Yeah. Obviously a really fun track, has some good flow to it. A bit jealous of those who get to go down after watching Chase Hands on board that we put out last year on YouTube for the EKN on board. It looks like a really fun track to run. So obviously running it twice, so lucky to them. Should be a good opening weekend. Always some fun battles and storylines coming out of Challenge of the Americas for what is this, their 17th season of 17th, the program. 17th season for them, so should be a good one with those opening rounds in Muswell Honda Circuit. But opening round February 2nd through the 4th, looking forward to it.
And this will be in the clockwise direction, so not the direction we normally run when we go there. So right out the bat with the big bang, going a different direction. And so we'll have another Odenthal Racing Products on board with that direction, hopefully right away when we get there Trackside Friday, to be able to provide you on our YouTube page to be able to see what it feels like to go that direction, because a lot of drivers have visited this racetrack but have never gone in this direction. So it'll be cool to see. And then we'll return the weekend after, February 9th through the 11th, as we go back to the AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex presented by MG Tires in Homestead, Florida, for the final 2 rounds of the Superkarts USA Winter Series program. And we will do that in the clockwise direction as well at the 12-turn circuit outside the Homestead Miami Speedway, which is, again, a swamp right now because of all the rain. But hopefully it'll be dry when we return in February, and when Rob Howden returns to call the action with Kart Chaser down there. So that'll be good to have both of us down there. You'll be watching from home, Nate, and hopefully being able to provide us some insight that we might not see while we're trackside.
Yeah. Like we talked about, I kind of like this direction a bit more. It throws a bit of a wrench in the works. I think it raced maybe not a bit better, but just a little bit more of lunges where you wouldn't usually see them. People still trying to get to grips with the track they maybe haven't run as much. So definitely looking forward to what will be championship weekend for the Winter Series.
Yeah, we'll decide the champions for the 2024 Superkarts USA Series, or Superkarts USA Winter Series program. With that, we'll conclude our first debrief of the 2024 season. Nate, any other final words as we wrap up this show?
Really wish I was going down to Florida. I'm really sick of the snow. To be honest with you.
It is, yeah. My son's outside doing the shoveling right now as they had another snow day. So I think we're at 5 right now already in the 2024 calendar year. So great start for them, getting to sleep until noon and do nothing all day except for when Dad makes you do the shoveling. Yes. You got to be doing some lifting, right? Some snow shoveling yourself.
We have not gotten like that much. It's just been like dustings, so it
Okay.
like blows away every once in a while. There was one that we got like heavy in the night that it, with the morning sun, kind of melted away. But surprise, it's just been cold. It's just been windy and cold and miserable.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
It's not.
It's not, believe me. As much as I wanted snow when we got through Christmas without any snow, now we're all saying, take it back, please. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, and we'll conclude this episode of the EKN Debrief, episode 123. For myself, David Cole, and Nate Dean, thank you for listening.